The British Trade Minister, Dominic Johnson, wanted to attract Chinese auto manufacturers to move manufacturing facilities to the UK. This is quite interesting. After all the debacle involving China's anti-dumping duties or the European imposition of potential anti-dumping duties against Chinese auto manufacturers and the battle that embroiled EU, France, and Germany over the same issue, same subject. And the fact that Germany has decided to put additional, I think is 110 billion euros into supporting the auto industry's effort to go green or go electric. It's a complicated situation because every country has different interests to carry. France, for example, doesn't sell many cars to China. It's not afraid of retaliatory duties from China. So go ahead and do it. That means that the Germans will get hurt because Germans are selling a lot of cars in China. If there are retaliatory duties, then the Germans will get hurt. So EU unified, but in terms of self-interest, there are a lot of diversities. And I just don't think that they can come to any solution that would be satisfactory to all. Now, Germany used to dominate the car industry, but if you recall, in the older days, UK used to dominate the car industry. I still remember the days when everybody watched movies and when they see a Rolls Royce, they would jump up and down. And then also sports cars, Aston Martin or MG. What happened to them? Well, I think MG has been bought by a Chinese auto manufacturer and also Lotus too. So UK deindustrialized. Now it's in an effort to reindustrialize. Good luck. Let's see if it works. As part of the story on cars, there is, of course, the electric vehicle revolution. China produces more than half the electric vehicles in the world, and it sells more than half the electric vehicles in the world, domestically even. So it has the efficiency coming from the economies of scale, which is unrivaled by anyone. And now I think the Germans, the Japanese will stick to their hydrogen cars or hybrid models. They're going to continue down that path. Maybe one day that would really take off. But the Germans, the French, and the British are trying to get into the electric vehicle business in a big way. That's really complicated for them because the batteries, where will the batteries come from? It looks like most of the batteries are produced by China. And China has the technology and, again, the scale and, again, the efficiency that come from the economies of scale to beat anyone. So there are efforts now by German, French, and even American, aside from the UK, companies in wanting to form joint ventures with the Chinese manufacturers of batteries. Let's see what happens. Not only collaborating on batteries, German manufacturers are now negotiating to buy out Chinese electric vehicle companies. They figured if we can't beat them, let's just buy them. Actually, it makes a lot of sense because take Mercedes, for example. It's said that they're into negotiations with NIO. We, Mercedes, have global branding, global distribution, global after-sales service. NIO, you only have China. And in fact, only part of China. You're not spread out all over the country yet. So if you became Mercedes-Benz, NIO, and BN, then we can take you all over the world, take you to every corner of the world. So it makes a lot of sense, actually, for them to try and acquire it. Whether or not they can, whether or not they make a deal, don't know. We'll see. It's not only NIO. Other electric vehicle manufacturers are being pursued by big capital. I was in the Middle East last week, and there have been a lot of discussions among the Middle Eastern sovereign wealth funds about acquiring some Chinese electric vehicle manufacturers and moving the assembly to the Middle East. They're getting quite serious, it seems, especially Saudi Arabia, about new and renewable sources of energy. Of course, the expression is right. Expression of Stone Age did not end because people ran out of stones because of new technology, because discovery of iron, discovery of copper, the metals, which means the oil and gas age will not end because we ran out of oil and gas because of new and renewable sources of energy. Hence, the Middle Eastern countries, which had been wholly dependent on oil and gas in the past, are now moving heavily into new and renewable sources of energy in their investments. That's a very interesting move, very interesting direction. Good luck to them. The auto industry has been the mainstay of every major industrialized country ever since industrialization began. You have the US, you have UK, you have France, you have Germany. Every single one of them, the auto industry meant suppliers, numerous component makers, employment opportunities galore. In addition to the auto side, the attendant services, like after-sales service, maintenance, and so on, all were very good and profitable businesses, as well as employment for the masses. So the auto industry has always been a very critical component or a pillar of any industrialized economy. So for China to have achieved what it has achieved in the auto industry is phenomenal. China has been able to do it for several reasons. One is the central government's focus, razor sharp, on using this as a ways of developing the automobile sector. Two, the economies of scale. Given the number of cars being produced and sold in China, which for a number of years now has been the highest selling country in the world. With that, what do you have? You have the economies of scale on components, on other than engines components. Motors, that's purely a scale manufacturing business. And if you have the scale as you do in China now, you just can make it a lot cheaper than anyone else. And then also innovation. Too many auto manufacturers, especially the Germans, will admit to you that they are stuck with old ideas, old concepts, and they haven't been brought to the internet age. Whereas the Chinese auto manufacturers are not set with baggages of what was in the past. They can innovate. They can put in really people-friendly applications, which has been phenomenal, which has been really, really exciting to new consumers of the EV. So I think anyone trying to catch up to the Chinese EV makers, it'll take a while. It'll take a long while, if ever.